The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Jessica Martinez stood before the assembled representatives of 47 species. The question hung in the air like a challenge, asked by the Vrelnii diplomat with all 6 of his eye stalks focused on her with obvious skepticism. "So, human," the Vrelnii wheezed through his translation collar, "your species claims to have tamed your world. Yet your planet harbors creatures that dwarf you in size, strength, and natural weaponry. How did such fragile beings achieve dominance?" Jessica smiled, not the diplomatic smile she practiced for years, but something older, something that made several nearby aliens unconsciously shift backward. She raised her right hand slowly, palm forward. "This," she said simply. "This is Earth's apex predator." Confused murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Krillian ambassador, resembling a massive crystalline spider, clicked in what Jessica had learned was their version of laughter. "You jest, surely. Your species has no natural armor, no venom, no significant claws or fangs. Even your younglings are defenseless for years." "That's exactly right," Jessica agreed, lowering her hand. "We're born naked, weak, and helpless. We can't breathe underwater. We can't fly. We don't have echolocation, infrared vision, or electromagnetic senses. We're not the biggest, strongest, or fastest." She paused, letting the silence build. "But we never needed to be." The Vrelnii diplomat's eye stalks quivered with what Jessica interpreted as confusion. "Then explain how you survived creatures like your lions, or bears, or crocodiles. The database shows they should have hunted your ancestors to extinction." Jessica's grin widened. "We're persistence hunters. We don't chase prey in short bursts, we chase them until they collapse from exhaustion. A human in decent shape can literally run an animal to death. We did it for hundreds of thousands of years. There's even a famous race in your database, the man versus horse marathon, where humans regularly beat horses in a 22-mile race." "Impossible," the Krillian stated flatly. "Quadrupeds have superior speed and stamina. Over short distances, yes. But humans can regulate body temperature through sweating, we can run in midday heat that would kill most animals. We can carry water. We can plan. Most importantly, we don't give up." Jessica's eyes gleamed. "Imagine being a deer. You see a human. You run. You lose them. Hours later, they're still coming. You run again. They're still there. The next day, still there. Eventually, you're too exhausted to run anymore. That's when we strike." The chamber had gone absolutely quiet. "But predators aren't just about hunting," Jessica continued, warming to her subject. "They're about adapting, surviving, and dominating their environment. Let me tell you about the Tasmanian tiger, a species we hunted to extinction not because we needed to, but because they threatened our livestock. Or passenger pigeons, billions of them, maybe the most numerous bird species ever. We hunted them until there were none. Not for survival. For sport." She saw several aliens shifting uncomfortably now. "We looked at wolves, apex predators in their own right, and decided they'd make good pets. We selectively bred them into hundreds of specialized forms. We created dogs that can smell cancer, dogs that can pull sleds across frozen wastelands, dogs small enough to fit in a purse. We took predators and made them love us." "That's disturbing," the Vrelnii admitted. "It gets better," Jessica said, pulling up a holographic display. "We looked at the oceans, covering 70% of our planet, and said, we're going there. We built vessels. When those weren't enough, we built submarines that could reach the deepest trenches. We found life in absolute darkness, under crushing pressure, and our response was fascinating. Let's study it." She changed the display. "We looked at the sky and said, we're going there too. We strapped ourselves to controlled explosions and threw ourselves into space. We walked on our moon. We sent probes beyond our solar system carrying messages for anyone who might find them, basically announcing, humans were here. The Krillian's crystalline body was absolutely still. This is standard exploration behavior. Is it? Jessica challenged. Your species achieved space travel 2,000 years before us. How many of your probes have left your solar system? She didn't wait for an answer. Our Voyager probes launched in the 1970s. They're still operational, still sending data back, billions of miles from home. She leaned forward. You asked what makes humans apex predators. It's not our strength. It's our insanity. We split the atom, the fundamental building block of reality, looked at the destructive power we'd unleashed, and used it to boil water for electricity. We found diseases that could kill millions and deliberately infected ourselves with weakened versions to build immunity. We discovered radiation would kill us and immediately started using it to see inside our own bodies. We fell from trees and broke bones, so we invented medicine. When medicine wasn't enough, we invented surgery, cutting ourselves open to fix what's inside. When that wasn't enough, we started replacing body parts. Hearts. Kidneys. Lungs. We're working on growing new organs from scratch. The chamber was deathly silent now. You want to know what makes humans apex predators? Jessica's voice was soft but carried to every corner of the massive chamber. We're the species that looked at every obstacle, every limit, every impossible challenge, and took it personally. We turned every predator on our planet into either livestock, companions, or extinct species. We climbed to the top of the food chain armed with nothing but rocks and sticks, and when we got there, we weren't satisfied. She gestured around the chamber. We're here now, among the stars, meeting species that evolved on worlds we can barely survive on. And we're already talking about terraforming planets, adapting them to suit us. Not moving to worlds that fit our needs, changing worlds to match our requirements. Jessica straightened, her diplomatic smile returning. So yes, Ambassador, humans are fragile. We're born helpless. We have no natural weapons. But we've been apex predators for so long that we forgot other species aren't. We see problems as puzzles to solve. We see limits as suggestions. We see impossible as a dare. She raised her hand again. This, opposable thumbs, problem-solving intelligence, and the absolute refusal to accept no as an answer, this is what made us apex predators. And Council, I promise you, we're just getting started. The Vrelni-eyed diplomat's eye stalks had curled in on themselves, a gesture Jessica had learned meant deep contemplation or fear. Possibly both. I see, he said finally. No further questions. As Jessica returned to her seat, she caught the eye of the Krillian ambassador. For the first time since humanity had joined the Galactic Council, the crystalline being offered her a gesture of respect. They understood now. Earth's apex predator wasn't a creature of fang and claw. It was something far more dangerous, a species that never learned to stop.